Okay, we need to talk about seed theory because there's been a lot of comments in the comments saying this is a hoax, confirmation bias, and all that. And I want to say you're probably not wrong, but we need to talk about it. If you're interested in understanding and knowing what seed theory is, I'd highly suggest watching Reminex's video about seed theory, or even Big Roy Awesome's video about seed theory. And before we get into this, I want to talk about my background with not only mobile games and what I did before I did YouTube. I've been doing YouTube about 5 years. I started off with a game called Marvel Contest of Champions. Before that, I was a financial planner, stockbroker, and I have a very mathematical, cynical approach to everything in life. I do not believe in astrology or anything, and I don't gamble. I'm just a cynic. However, I have some experiences with mobile games that we need to talk about, and the reason why I'm going to continue to use seed theory, and there's two reasons why I'm going to use it, but we have to talk about mobile gaming industry. Marvel Contest of Champions. I started making videos about Marvel Contest Champions about 5 years ago, and there was a highly controversial topic about whether or not new players got boosted drop rates on premium orbs and got more 4-star characters. And then once you started spending money, they tanked the drop rates. And I was very cynical, and a lot of other YouTubers opened up new accounts and dumped money into new accounts to prove that there was higher drop rates for new players. And I was the forefront of the leaderboard saying, it's all random, man. And whenever they showed me evidence of something different, I always threw confirmation bias back in their face. And I was very cynical about this. And I felt very good saying this. Confirmation bias. Well, of course, you proved it this time because you were looking for it. Then, in another game called Galaxy of Heroes, there was a big debate. And a good friend of mine, Warrior, had this idea that drop rates were being manipulated when you're farming certain pieces of gear. There was a particular piece of gear that we needed to get 50 of, and it seems like when you got to 48 out of 50, the drop rates tanked. And then also Warrior was doing all kinds of spreadsheets and things and proving that if you did 3 at a time, rather than doing like all 10 at a time, when you were simming it for the day, that you would get better drop rates. And I remember talking about this with Crazy Excuses, who actually was like a PhD in statistics. Same thing. We're just like, math is math, RNG is RNG. It's confirmation bias. And they went on to extreme lengths with spreadsheets and things like that. Until I started researching patents. And holy moly! The parent company of Marvel, which is Kabam, which was literally split off and offshoot into a company called Aftershock. Kabam remained, but it split into two. Kabam went one way with Netmarble. What was left over went and became a company called Aftershock, which became Fox Next. So Fox Next was a division of Kabam, and it turns out Kabam had a patent specifically on what we were talking about. Mystery boxes that adjust due to past spending behavior. Like literally, this is public record on Google of the patents that Kabam has that exactly says what the whole community was screaming about. And I was yelling, confirmation bias, RNG is RNG. Literally a patent in the public record saying they were manipulating the drop rates based on how much money you have spent. Wow. Guess what? Galaxy of Heroes. Literally, EA has a patent called Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment, where they can manipulate drop rates for various variables. One of them, primarily the article talks about engagement, but they also talk about manipulating odds to increase monetization. I am not kidding. That they literally have a patent on what the community was suspecting. Then the community confronted the developers, and the lead producer at the time, he says, I've never seen that patent before, so I can't speak to it, but let me clarify. We do know difficulty tuning or targeted offers are. All drop rates are fixed. And so they were saying, no, we don't do that. And that was interesting, but the part that was the real kicker is that she followed up in another, and this was on Reddit, and she said, the fact that I gave myself out should prove positive I'm telling the truth. If I were lying, why would you bother with this caveat? I gave myself that out because I have a lot of bosses, and this is something we have been asked for regularly. She admitted that there are algorithms they use to manipulate drop rates to increase spending. Many free-to-play mobile games do it. I can't speak to which ones. It's just considered an industry standard, and the team does not want to do it. As I said in other posts, because we've talked about changing drop rates in Playver's favor, a Monte Carlo system, that would be a dynamic pricing change. So there are always pricing changes. We'll do it in a positive way. I was blown away when I read this. Basically, she said her bosses at EA were pressuring her to implement dynamic variable rates on things, and that's fine. And wow, right? Like, and this is something that, like, I remember, like, Warrior's a good friend of mine going, Warrior, this is just not true. You're making this stuff. This is tinfoil hat stuff. This is gambling mentality, confirmation bias. And then there's a literal patent on this. And the patent actually states that it's undetectable. I don't know how that's possible, but the patent actually states that it is undetectable. Of all things, right? So why do I want to talk about this? I want to talk about this because there was an article titled by Science Direct, Unfair Play, Video Games as Exploitative Monetized Service, an example of game patents from a consumer protection perspective. And this article goes through all of these patents and look at the names who have these patents. Activision, NetEase, fine. Kabam, 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 kabam. Aftershock, which is Fox Next. Kabam is Aftershock's do. Kabam, kabam, kabam. And it's interesting, when I went in a little deeper on some of these patents, a lot of them that Fox Next owned ended up selling them to EA, which blows my mind. They actually sold some of these patents to EA, and they're probably using them there. Why would they buy it unless they're going to use it, right? So what does this have to do with seed theory? Well, the main thing is, I personally don't believe that they are using fixed drop rates. And I personally believe that on Red Star orbs and things like that, they're using some sort of algorithm to exploit monetization. They literally have patents on this. Like, there's patents in existence. They have the capability of doing this. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it's fun, and I don't know if it works. I don't know. It's entertaining to do. I can promise you, me doing this hokey plan, and it's called a theory. It's not seed fact. It's seed theory. It's fun. I'm going to tell you this. I'm not going to spend gold, and I'm not going to open orbs any differently than I would normally open things. I'm going to play the game exactly the way I was going to play it no matter what. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to open extra orbs. I'm not going to spend extra gold. I'm certainly not going to buy anything. I'm only going to do things in the same way that I'm doing it. But yes, I'm going to do some weird flip my phone upside down 4 times. I mean, if you've seen the seed theory, it's like, spend 400,000 gold to reset the feed. Open up 10 orbs to see if you're in a good seed. If you get a 1% drop, then you start moving on to the red stars. And if you're in a good seed, you'll pull red stars. It's fun. I'm going to continue attempting to see if it works or not. And yes, it'll probably be confirmation bias. And I'm 1,000% certain that if we've stumbled on this seed theory, and it's a manipulation of their algorithm, and we're gaming their algorithm that tomorrow they could flip the switch and turn it off. I get it. Listen, this stuff is straight up theory, and for me, it's pure entertainment. And every time that I need to open up red stars for the next character, which is going to be probably Ebony Maw, I'm going to be doing seed theory because maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. I believe these companies have algorithms. They have algorithms to manipulate odds, and it's fun. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this. This is real. These patents are real. Absolutely. Whether or not they're being used in this game or not, I don't know. I don't know if seed theory is real. I don't know if Remenex and Big Roy Awesome have figured out how to game their algorithm. I don't know. I just know that it's fun to do it that way. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.